All right. Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming at you live Sunday, 5:37 p.m., January 17th, to have some quick talks and just some points on U.S. immigration law. I usually do this live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. If you're watching on YouTube, it would be on my JQK Law Firm Immigration channel, always live on TikTok as well. But I have a secondary channel, JQK Immigration Clips, where I have shorter clips, 1, 2, 3 segment stuff, as opposed to 10, 12, 13-minute, maybe 20-minute stuff. That's a longer. I separate those two. So we have a lot of questions coming on what's happening with Biden, what's happening with biometrics delays, what's happening with receipts, and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to take time out right now to be here, to take your questions as you're trickling in, to see what kind of things are popping up in your mind about all this. It's a messy situation with immigration. It's like, wow, there's things happening I've never happened before. And so I'm here to talk about it for the next few minutes, take your questions live. Thank you for joining us. Just pop out your question if someone who can answer, talk about it. But the first thing that comes up is President Biden. What's his plan? So one thing you always have to realize is politicians say a lot of things. So just because a politician says they're going to do something doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't want you to give your hopes up and get all happy and expect the world and then not happen. So, when President Biden says, I'm going to introduce a new immigration plan that's going to change the game and do all this kind of stuff, you have to keep it all with a grain of salt. And so know that maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe it will. Now, the Democrats do have a majority in Congress, both the Senate and the House. And that's a big deal. That's something that hasn't happened in a long time. And that gives a lot of opportunity for that to happen. Now, keep in mind, Obama had this kind of power, but he used his political capital to push in healthcare reform and to get healthcare stuff going. So he ran out of capital, pushed immigration. Immigration has its own obstacles to it. There's people that like immigration that are against each other on two sides of the angle. So this whole comprehensive immigration reform is kind of messy. The thing they're recently pushing from the administration is some sort of amnesty for 11 million people who have TPS, temporary protected status. These are people who have they're from a country, visiting the United States. They're from a country who has some cataclysmic, horrible event, either natural or unnatural, that makes it difficult for them to go back. They can temporarily be here. It's called temporary protected status. Maybe give them a path to green card citizenship, as well as the dreamers, the deferred action of childhood arrival people who came to the United States when they're young, give them the ability to get a green card and get citizenship after that. That's something they're talking about. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But there's, immigration is so wide. There's so many different types of immigration that it's hard to see what's going to happen in the end, especially because it has to pass the House, has to pass the Senate. And in that mix, while it's going through the politics, a lot of things are going to get messed up and changed, and we'll never know how it looks at the end. And being an immigration lawyer that I work on reading the laws and working on laws and teaching it, depending on where a period is or where a comma is or something, or what word is used instead of some other word, the complete meaning of the laws could change. So although we'll say, okay, we want to give like amnesty or legalize this, the devil is in the details. So, and that's something I guess lost on people. They just see the big picture kind of stuff. But when you really go do it, and this is stuff I deal with on a day-to-day basis, it's reading what's actually in the statute. Those could become problematic. So that's something you got to think about and be prepared for. So we have a question on TikTok that says, Malik asks, my wife had her interview on December 8th, 2020 in Islamabad, visa category R1, spouse of a U.S. citizen, I think. But they gave her a 221G form. So they put your wife in what's called administrative processing. And this is something that's very obnoxious, but it happens up to a lot of cases, especially with cases where America doesn't have good relationship with that foreign country. And they say it's for 221G could be they want certain documents from you, like birth certificates or more financial documents. But many times they're from Iran, Afghanistan. This case is Islamabad, Pakistan. So Pakistan, they want to do background checks. But you follow up and they asked for a CV and research paper she did on MPHIL and microbiology. So they may be worried that she might be some sort of security risk or something like that. So get them what they want, and hopefully that'll be enough to get you out of administrative processing. Next question comes up is, let's say you give the paperwork, how long is administrative processing going to take? Well, there's no answer to that. It could take forever. And that's a really annoying aspect of this immigration system, where it could take years, where you might have to file a lawsuit. But if it wants something particular, I would say talk with an immigration lawyer first, is to really analyze what your wife's work is, to be prepared to answer it. So don't think you're some sort of security threat, but be prepared to wait and file a lawsuit. You should have an immigration attorney just in case. That's what I'd recommend having, to be with you along these different steps. So thanks for your question. Zia asks, how long does it take to review the case and shipment to NBC? That varies depending on the case and what's going on. So there's no exact answer to that. And Mandeep asks, Sir, I applied for I-765. That's a work permit. Now 40 days. My fingerprint notice coming next month. My permit approved. I'm not sure if that's a question or not, but it's up to them. It takes however long. Unfortunately, there's no deadlines or no timelines. Shab on YouTube asks, hi there. I submitted my citizenship application in middle of September 2020, but I still not get the notice about biometrics. Anything I could do about that? So that brings me to the next thing. The delays in getting biometrics. Is this happening all across the board where people are waiting 4, 6, 8 months, 10 months to get biometrics notices? This is the fingerprinting and photo that you take with USCIS so they could do their background checks. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the biometrics appointment centers were shut down for 6 months. And when they opened up, they were seeing fewer and fewer people because they can't fill up that room and go through numbers of people really quick. So there's huge deadline, a huge discrepancy in timelines, a huge exaggeration of timelines, delays. That's the word I'm looking for, delays. And that's it. It's nothing you can do. You just got to wait, and that's it. So everyone who's asking about biometrics appointment notices and even receipt notices, because those are being delayed for months too, there's nothing you could do. You just have to wait. Now, for receipt notices, if you didn't file the case properly, there may be a rejection, which is causing it to take so long as well. So you really want to double check to make sure you wrote the check to the right place, right amount. You filled out the forms properly, and then hope for the best. Now, we have a question about when the immigration court's going to open up. That varies depending on each court that you're looking at. They may be open or closed depending on the situation in that city that they're in and how risky it is. So it's not, when you ask courts open, there's hundreds of courts. So I don't know which court you're particularly talking about. You should go to the EOIR website, that's the immigration court website, and look up your particular courthouse and see what they're saying at any time. But they could say they're open and then they close tomorrow. So asking when is something going to open is like asking when is COVID going to end. I don't know. If you know, I'll gamble on it somehow, make some money. But there's no way to answer that question. Mirak says, do you know how long it's going to take? There's no questions. No, I already answered that. Shub asks, my I-45 got rejected because they thought I'm applying for via I-140, but I applied as a immediate relative. See, those rejections happen. It's going to be a mess. But Shub, I got to see what's going on with their case before for me to be able to answer that. So we have to have a private consultation. Corma asks, last year I filed an I-730, got nothing after my I-797 update. Yeah, I-730 is a family member of an asylee. You got your receipt notice. Refer to it as a receipt notice. An I-797 is any form that comes from USCIS called I-797. So we tell an immigration lawyer that doesn't give them any information. So you got your receipt notice. How long does it take? What's going on? That's it. Just got to wait. They're extended delays right now in those kind of cases. Green Shade says, my fiance is here on a K1. What is the next step? Well, download my Ultimate Marriage Green Card guide. It's a no-cost guide. Go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. You could download, get the information there. On YouTube, JQK Law Firm YouTube page, I have a breakdown of the entire K1 visa process, like a 20-minute video, step by step. I break it down. Just go to my YouTube channel, JQK Law Firm, and then type in K1 fiance visa, and it'll pop up and it'll break down the steps. And if you did want to hire an immigration attorney or at least have a consultation at first, always consultation needed, just email my office and we can jump into it. Sarbon says he has a question. Go ahead, ask it. Hi, Sanusa. Sophia Dad says, you're great. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. MS asks, my wife received an RFE for medical. She sent that on July 22nd, but the status has not been updated. They don't necessarily update the status, but if you're doing a marriage case, you're not supposed to mail in the medical. So I got to see what happened. If you're doing a marriage case, you have to bring the medical with you for the in-person interview. So I hope that wasn't messed up because then you have to get a new medical. But we'll see. Source says, does OWI in the state of Iowa affect an asylum case in California? You probably meant DWI, driving while under influence. President Trump has cracked down very severely on that. Now, the courts have put on hold some parts of it. But if you do have any criminal stuff, it affects everybody. If you got a DUI in Iowa, it's going to affect your future forever. So it doesn't matter if it's a different state. You should have an immigration attorney for sure on a case like that. Samlon says, my case approved F2A from NBC in July. They didn't schedule my interview. Yeah, there's backed up. Afrias, after submitting processing fee and documents, NBC sends the case to USCIS. Are they going to deny? Well, if you submit a document, you have the interview. And then if the interview doesn't go well, they send it back to USCIS. So if it's going already to USCIS, that's a major error, and you should have an immigration attorney and follow up and see what in the world happened, because that's not happened properly. Robert asks, how do I transfer from pre-law to law school? Well, it's not a transfer. You got to get accepted to a law school. So you have to take the test required. Sometimes mostly it's an LSAT test. And then if you get a good enough grade and schools accept you, You just go to school there. Yoli says, any luck for individuals with criminal history dated 19 years ago? Yoli, that doesn't give me any information. By criminal history, do you mean you ran a stop sign or do you mean you murdered somebody? Those are wildly different things. And so you got to be very specific in your questions. And so really just schedule a private consultation with an attorney to review the court record to see what in the world happened with your criminal history. As AK asks, hello, if processing times 21 20 processing times are not reliable, don't even think about it. It's not something whether it's going to happen this or that. That processing times, I've never seen processing times make any sense or in the sense of being reliable that you can say, okay, this, that, is that. So that's that. Sonia says, we already asked that question. When are they starting to schedule interviews for F2A visas? Whenever COVID is done, COVID gets better. So that's it. What about DAPA? DAPA is a special program President Obama tried to make for parents of that enter without permission. There's no word on it. We'll have to see what happens if President Biden wants to take that on. Sonu, stop asking the same question. We already answered that. Malik says, if they didn't respond in 3 months, can I get congressperson involved in it? Yeah, you can always give it a shot. Why not? Thanks for following, Tyvon. Carl, you're welcome. Do you know anything about P3 form? I don't usually handle O's and P's. And if you have a P, which is an employment-based case, you should have a consultation, meet with an attorney in private. Sarwan says, if you victim in any case, that affect the green card holder? I need to see what you're talking about in private. Karma, you're welcome. Anama says, if they say your case is being processed, is the case approved? No, that means they're working on it. Zachman says, are you in Greece? No, that's just the background. I was trying to get my normal background, but I'm using a second phone that doesn't have my background. So I'm using the one that, what's it called? TikTok gives me automatically. For those on YouTube, you can't see it. I have a phone right here that has that. Deej says, is it normal for immigration to keep your passport after a voluntary deportation if judge didn't? They're supposed to release your passport to you to leave. So they're not supposed to keep it because you have to have your passport to leave. They mess things up. So you probably have a lawyer if you got voluntary deportation, voluntary departure, not voluntary deportation. But we'll see. You're welcome, Green Shade. Sammy asks, my case DQ from NBC, but they didn't schedule my interview. Am I green card holder? No, you're not a green card holder. You're saying you're documentary qualified, which means they accepted the initial review of your cases. You need to have an interview. And then once your interview is done, you'll get an immigrant visa if it's approved. And then once you fly into the United States and enter the United States and pass customs, that's when you become a green card holder. DJ asks, is it normal for immigration to, we already answered that. You guys got to stop asking the same question. We'll start banning people if you keep asking the same stuff. When is the embassy open? Whenever coronavirus stops. That's the answer. I got a question to your question. Najib says, I got citizenship. I want a petition for my mom and dad at the same time. Can I do that? Well, congratulations on naturalizing, becoming a U.S. citizen. It is possible to start each of their cases. They're two separate cases, but the important thing is to see what's going on in your parents' backgrounds, where they're living, what their past history was. So schedule a consultation with immigration to review your case. If you want to schedule a time, my office fees do apply, but email me. I'll let you know what the fee is. My email is info@jqqlaw.com. Again, that's info@jqqlaw.com. J as in Jack, Q as in Queen, K as in King. And we'll have a video consultation with you and your parents. I'll review their documents, go through a history to see what the situation is and what issues may pop up. You're welcome, AK. Or I'll say the full name. Akzan Tayuva. Sorry, I can't say the whole thing. Polygen says, do you have any idea what's going to be Joe Biden's plan for illegal immigration once office? Paulie, I just started the conversation. You missed it today, talking about that for a few minutes. So catch the video of this live on the JQK Immigration Clips channel. User 14, you're welcome. Thank you so much. User 45 says, how about fiance visa? What about the fiance visa? You got to ask a question. AK asks, what do you think if Biden will be president? Will he do everything faster? Who knows? I mean, I talked about that earlier today. It's not just Biden. He's not the person reviewing these cases and working on this. There's hundreds of thousands of people involved in the immigration system. There's all these money involved and decision-making and leadership involved. So just because a president changes doesn't mean the whole system is going to change all of a sudden. So you got to be prepared for all sorts of things that possible. Malik says, because my twins were born abroad, they issued U.S. passports, but given Form 221G for my wife and kept passport. They may want to issue they kept the passport because they're waiting for the documentation. And then if they're okay, they stamp a visa stamp. You're welcome, user 14. I appreciate that. User 45 says, fiance visa, must I travel there? user 405, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That might give you a better understanding what's going on, because the way you're phrasing your questions, I can't really follow what you're trying to ask. And if you keep asking the question, I'm gonna have to ban you from the channel. So please stop repeating it. USCIS Kwan says, USCIS said to me, wait 60 days. They said I got something in mail. What's that means? What does that mean? It just means exactly what it says. I don't know what to tell you. Imran says, I have a master here. Do I need a lawyer? That's up to you. If you're feeling sick, do you need a doctor? Maybe you do. I don't know. Ahmad says, how long did it take for green card stealing from Pakistan? I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. User 12 says, we gave our asylum interview at November 3rd. They still haven't let us know. What does that mean? They haven't made a decision on your case yet. Deja, does that, once your questions start going extra levels and stuff, just schedule a consultation. It's hard to give, I can't give legal advice here, so it's just general kind of stuff. Malik says, well, her background check can apply for visitor visa. Very unlikely they'll approve visitor visa when you have a green card case pending. Paulie says, thank you, you're welcome. Dexter says, I have a question for travel for immigrant. This is all general education, general kind of stuff. Feel free to shoot it out if I can't answer it, either not answer or skip it or whatever. Zark says, can I convert my tourist visa to student visa? It may be possible, but we got to see what's going on in your background and the timing and all that kind of stuff. User 45 rephrase the question. Fiancé visa, must I travel to the lady country before I apply to fiancé visa for her? For a fiancé visa, you have to be a U.S. citizen, and you have to have met your fiancé at least once physically in person in the last 2 years. So if you've already met them once before the last 2 years, no, you don't have to do that. But if you haven't met them in person yet, yeah, you'll have to meet with them. Avon says, what's some important documents that I need to file my husband case? Well, Avon, two things. Go download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It breaks it all down there, www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. On YouTube, on my channel, JQK Law Firm, I have a 20-minute video that breaks down marriage green card documents. It goes through everything. So watch the video, and then if you still want to talk to a lawyer, schedule a consultation in my office, and we go through it. AKS, thank God we have people like you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. User 268 says, please, can you tell me about P3? What about it? I mean, I can't just go and read a book about something. You have to ask the question that's general. It's like, tell me about America. Okay, America's a big country. There's a lot of different people. What do you want to know? But most likely, I won't be able to answer your question. We need a private consultation. Dexter says, what if I got stuck in Philippines for more than 6 months because of COVID? Am I able to go back to U.S.? Probably. It's up to the port officers, but probably. Deba says, thank you. You're welcome. Bruno asks, I married May 2018, applied for my green card, still waiting for the interview. How long do you need to wait? I don't know your case to say exactly, but it's not up to me. Whenever they get a chance to deal with your case, that's it. My wife's interview is on February 1st. IR1 visa category. Do I have to be present at the appointment? If your interview is in the United States with USCIS, yes, you both have to go there. If it's at an embassy, no. Naima says, hi to you as well. Avon says, thank you so much. I appreciate that. How much should I have to sponsor my husband? Well, Avon, it depends on your family size and different factors. If it's just you're single and you're married, for the Form I-864 outfitted support, it's around $22,000. I can't remember exactly how much the exact number is. You're welcome, Viraj. But if your family size is different, or if you have other financial stuff, or your husband does, it goes a little more complicated. So those are the kind of things you really should either study it up or consult an attorney. Musa, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So we're probably going to wrap it up in a few minutes. I got some other stuff I got to do, but thank you all for joining. This impromptu live I did. I'm on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John, but also on my second YouTube channel, JQK Immigration Clips. You can catch me there and catch a lot more information. Just subscribe, follow, like, and click on that bell icon to get updates. I'm going to do more lives that are impromptu, not my regular Wednesday 5 p.m. Pacific time lives as they pop up. And especially it's going to be on this second YouTube channel. You're welcome, Avon. All right, with that, everyone, thank you so much. God bless. Be safe. Have a fun day tomorrow. It's a day off in the U.S. And until next one, have a good one. Bye-bye.